It is time to move into our smaller topics, and our first smaller topic has to do with a one. Did you hear about this, by the way, Alex? A WandaVision spinoff. Okay, this was
Oh,
reported by Variety, so this is a Hollywood trade. Uh, if it
Nathan
pulls up,
Agatha all
WandaVision spinoff
along.
starring Catherine Hahn in the works at Disney Plus. Uh, So right here, why is so many ads? A WandaVision spinoff starring Catherine Hahn is in development at Disney Plus for Marvel Studios. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. Hahn would reprise her role of Agatha Harkness in the series, which is described by sources as a dark comedy. Though the exact plot details remain under wraps, WandaVision head writer Jack Schaffer would serve as the writer and executive producer on the project. Should the spinoff go forward, it would be the first project Schaffer has set up with Marvel since she signed an overall deal with them in 20th Television in May. Alex, what do you think about this?
Like WandaVision, like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and like Loki. Unnecessary, but I'm still intrigued.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay. I saw a video on TikTok. Okay. I'm going to have to go a little rambly, so I'm going to try to shorten this down a little.
No,
Uh,
go full ramble.
I had this guy on here was saying how unnecessary the show is. Agatha was a side character, but it's just like, so is Wanda, so is Vision, so is Falcon, so is Winter Soldier, so is Loki. So what is the point? Well, the point is number one, we're getting brand new stories. First and foremost, brand new stories. And who's going to complain about that? Not me. But I was also watching a stitch to that guy's video of where this girl had said, "Oh, Wanda and Vision were not side characters in any of their movies." And she's like, "She was a side character in Age of Ultron, and Civil War, and Endgame. I'd say Infinity War. She was a prominent character, but even then, she had like 5 minutes of screen time. Uh,
In Endgame, she literally has 2 minutes of screen time, and it's a fight with Thanos that has no depth. It's just a
that's it.
fight.
Exactly.
Oh, she beat Thanos. And by the
Yeah.
way, we don't talk about leaks as much in this, but all I'm gonna say is we talked a little bit how she's probably gonna be the villain of Multiverse of Madness. I
Yeah.
wonder how her fans are gonna react when she's literally gonna go full Darth Vader, like she is the Darth Vader of the MCU. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say on that. How are her fans
Oh,
gonna react?
they'll justify it somehow.
They will. They're gonna be just as bad as Anakin fans, dude.
No, literally, people like when WandaVision was coming out and episode 8 came out, people were saying because of that episode she was valid. I was just like, oh, I don't think grief justifies slavery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grief justifies enslaving a whole town. You didn't know that?
Oh
Didn't
yeah,
know that.
and giving them like nightmares every single night, like her nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah, real fun. Um,
By the way, I like Wanda Maximoff. I like
yes,
her character arc,
good
but her
care.
fans,
Yeah,
her apologists, are not great.
terrible. Also Vision, Age of Ultron, side character. Sorry, just because you're an Avenger doesn't mean you're a main character. Because
Right?
literally, almost half of the MCU then are main characters because they were
Yeah.
in Endgame. They're not.
Korg. Yeah, Korg is the main
Or
character,
yeah,
guys.
right, yeah. It's like no, he's not. It's like yeah, Vision, Age of Ultron, Civil War. Um, he wasn't even in fucking Endgame. Side characters again. He's only a main character in Infinity War because he had the Mind Stone.
Right.
That was it. Literally the entire plot with Captain America. I'm sorry, with Steve Rogers at that time because he's not Captain America anymore. Um,
Nomad.
yeah,
Nomad Steve.
yeah. The whole plot was based around Vision, literally because he had the Mind Stone. Take away the Mind Stone, useless. Um,
Right.
Falcon, come on now. My boy in every single movie he's been in was a side character. Every single one. And again, it's also people are placing this negative connotation around side character. Han Solo was a side character. He got his own movie from it.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett was a side villain, getting his own TV show, had one of the biggest reactions to his return in The Mandalorian.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. I'm trying to think. Lando's getting his own TV show, and he's a side character. It's just, again, it's like people were putting such a negative connotation over side character. That doesn't mean they were a bad character or, oh, they had like no time in the movie. No, they weren't the main character. If you're not the
Right.
main character or the main antagonist, guess what you are? You're a side character. The only time where that doesn't apply are big team up movies like the Avengers, Justice League, and even then, to those degrees, there are side characters in those main groups.
Yeah,
Tell
and
me,
there are main characters in those groups, like
yes,
the
Steve,
leaders of
yeah,
the
Steve,
Avengers
Tony,
focuses,
Thor,
yeah,
the big
on the
three.
big.
They're literally called the big three because they're the main three.
Right. Yeah, but
It's like,
back
and
to
then
the.
yeah,
Oh, good. Keep going.
and then again, Falcon was a side character. Again, he was not a prominent character like Steve was or Tony was, where he didn't get 3 movies about him. Um, Bucky Barnes, he was the
Was
villain
the
for one,
antagonist in one? Yeah.
and yeah, even then he was a brainwash, so he had basically little to no personality. Uh, and then again, Civil War, he's a side character. He's literally just a revolving plot. Like the plot
Right.
revolves around him. But it's more or less it's the Steve versus Tony conflict about him.
Yeah, and then Infinity War and Endgame, he's just there.
Literally in Infinity War, he literally just walks through a portal. That's his most and he stands at Tony's funeral. That's
Right.
it. That's his most prominent things he does in that movie.
And then with Loki, while Loki is a big character in the Thor trilogy, he's still a side character and still
He
mostly
is.
focusing on Thor and Asgard
Dark,
and Odin and
yeah, Dark World, Ragnarok. He's a side character. He's not the villain. And that's literally just it. He
right.
he was the villain of 2 movies, and then was sidelined. Again,
Yeah.
does that mean he was a bad character? No,
No.
he arguably had the most depth in those movies.
Right. He's the best character in that trilogy.
Yeah, so it's like when you put a negative connotation over side character, again, Lando, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Wanda, Vision, all these people, they are still good characters. They're just
right.
not the main character. But now they're being the main character.
Right. So
That's where this whole thing of this Agatha show, people complaining. It's like, why are you complaining about it?
yeah.
It's like, okay, is it my first choice to have a show made after Agatha Harkness? No, but I'm not gonna complain about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Alex. And I actually have the same I harbor the same thoughts as you do with this show. I wasn't a big fan of WandaVision, and I didn't think Agatha was a great villain at all. Sure, she has a catchy song and stuff, but she's only really prominent in 2 episodes. But I think she's good in episode 8. Episode 8, I think, is her strongest episode. Episode 9, the fight between her and Wanda was not as good to me as the fight between the two visions. I preferred that fight.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I think her best episodes were in order 8, 9, 7. The
yeah,
rest, you can literally put in any order.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm like, okay. And I guess I'll talk a little bit what I want the show to be about is I wanted to kind of tell her story. Um, but my first initial thought was like, I kind of got enough of her backstory in WandaVision, with
Yeah,
her
the whole
killing all the
sale.
witches,
Yeah,
killing all the witches and stuff. But I'm like, hey, if there's a story back there, because she has a big tie to Doctor Strange in the comics. Obviously, she wouldn't have a tie to Strange in the 1600s, but maybe the ancient one, maybe
well,
other sorcerers
I
that
don't,
she
I don't,
knows.
I don't want to say it, but she also has a pretty big tie to Mephisto.
Correct. So I think what I would like this show to be is not just a prequel, but just tell a story throughout the centuries about her
Yeah,
as a witch.
and another thing, like we don't know. Again, It's an in the works thing. It's not 100% confirmed that Disney's going to go ahead and fully greenlight it. But still, Catherine Hahn was so good. Why would you not want more of her?
Right.
That'd be like saying, "Oh, I thought Luke Skywalker was really good in The Mandalorian. I don't want any more of him."
Yeah. Just
What?
why?
It just seems so backwards. It just seems like, "Oh, he was so good. I just don't want any more of him."
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, then that doesn't make sense. But sure.
I think she'll be in Multiverse of Madness, and then I think this will probably happen, and I think John Campea, he was talking about it on his show. He was saying that Marvel does a good job of planning things out, just having everything organized. This doesn't seem planned. This seems
No.
reactionary,
This
but in
seems
a good way.
yes.
But in a good way, and they'll make it work. They made Loki work, and Loki was very much key to the Phase 4 as a whole.
Yeah, and I also think like thinking about this whole key to phase 4, it really feels like every project since the beginning of phase 4 except one, and it has potential to be big for phase 4. That's Black Widow.
Right.
And I think it's literally just because it should have came out during Civil War's time.
Right. Right.
The literal only thing that could make a huge thing for phase 4 was the post-credit scene with Yelena.
Correct.
But even then, we'd have to see how Hawkeye turns out. And I think Hawkeye is going to be the big stickler of, probably not going to be a big thing for phase 4.
I mean, babe, I disagree, but
Well, hold on. I want to say that Falcon and the Winter Soldier turned out to be, well, we all thought, oh, this is going to be nothing. Who cares? And then all of a sudden, we're getting the Dark Avengers being formed in that show.
right.
So literally, again, everything in phase 4 so far has been huge. Black Widow and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are setting up the Dark Avengers. WandaVision just sets up everything. Young Avengers, Multiverse, Agatha Harkness show. It's just everything has had a purpose, and I'm kind of failing to see where Hawkeye's gonna go, but never doubt my boy or his show. So
Yeah, I agree. I trust in Feige, just like I trust in Filoni and Favreau. I trust in Feige that
trust. But here's the thing: my trust with Feige is a little bit more refined than it is with Favreau and Filoni.
is it.
Literally, dude, it's the three F's of Disney: Feige, Favreau, Filoni.
Yeah, the Kings. Yeah,
Literal kings.
yeah, but I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
The idea of this show. I'll watch it. I did love her character, but I'll definitely watch it. I don't have
Yeah.
complaints.